One harmless joke, one moment of laughter. That's all it took to turn innocent pranks into the 6 most horrifying incidents ever captured on camera. These aren't just accidents. They're chilling reminders that the line between fun and fatal can disappear in an instant. It was April 12, 2018, when a university engineering lab became the scene of a fatal accident that would forever change how students approached experimental projects. The basement laboratory of a Michigan university was particularly damp that evening. Cold rain had left moisture on the concrete floors as students tracked water inside. The aging ventilation system hummed quietly, providing minimal air circulation in the windowless space filled with the scent of electronic components and cleaning solvents. Bianca Rhodes, a 20-year-old junior studying electrical engineering, was known among her peers for her methodical approach to coursework and her willingness to stay late perfecting her projects. Her friends described her as someone who took pride in understanding every component of her circuit designs. According to witness statements, she was working on a complex assignment that evening, her desk lamp casting a focused circle of light over her breadboard and scattered components. Her lab partner, a fellow engineering student with a reputation for practical jokes, had spent the previous hour modifying a novelty shocking device using components from their shared lab supplies. According to police interviews, he had modified the device to create a stronger jolt than typical store-bought versions. The device drew power directly from a standard wall outlet through a makeshift transformer he had assembled without safety testing or instructor approval. Witnesses told investigators he had joked earlier in the evening about giving someone a harmless surprise shock, similar to the novelty devices students sometimes passed around during late lab sessions. University security cameras captured her lab partner approaching Bianca's workstation and extending his hand in what appeared to be a congratulatory gesture. When their hands made contact, the modified device sent a dangerously strong shock directly through Bianca's hand and arm, as investigators later determined that the improvised transformer had an exposed, energized surface large enough to trigger full hand muscle contraction, which witnesses described as her hand locking around the device. According to witness statements from other students in the lab, Bianca's muscles contracted involuntarily, preventing her from releasing her grip. The electrical current passed through her chest cavity for several seconds because the device continued delivering voltage as long as she was gripping the exposed contact until her lab partner kicked the power cord from the wall outlet. Bianca immediately collapsed, showing signs of respiratory distress. Campus security arrived within 4 minutes of the emergency call. Paramedics performed CPR and used an automated external defibrillator, but were unable to restore normal heart rhythm. Bianca was transported to the university hospital, where she was pronounced dead at 11:23 that evening. The medical examiner determined that Bianca died from cardiac arrhythmia, secondary to electrical shock. The current had disrupted her heart's normal electrical conduction system, causing it to stop beating effectively. University investigators found that the modified device had been constructed without proper safety protocols and delivered dangerous levels of electrical current. Investigators also documented a small burn mark on her palm and slight charring on the device's exposed contact point, consistent with prolonged electrical conduction. The incident was ruled an accidental death. University officials implemented stricter policies regarding unauthorized electrical modifications and enhanced safety training for engineering students. Bianca's lab partner was placed on temporary suspension from all laboratory access, required to undergo formal safety retraining, and faced academic disciplinary proceedings once the investigation confirmed the device had been assembled without authorization. The tragedy highlighted the hidden dangers of seemingly harmless pranks involving electrical devices, particularly when modified by inexperienced individuals without proper safety knowledge or equipment testing. It was August 22, 2015, when a camping trip prank at Glacier National Park resulted in a fatal wildlife encounter that could have been prevented. Late summer brought warm 72-degree days to Glacier National Park, though nights remained cool around 45 degrees. Esther Lee, a 23-year-old recent graduate who worked as a research assistant at a local environmental consulting firm, was known for her love of nature and regular outdoor activities. Her colleagues described her as someone who maintained consistent routines and felt comfortable in wilderness settings. According to police interviews, Esther was camping with college friends at Apgar Campground when one member of the group decided to execute an elaborate scare prank. Her friend, an amateur photographer who enjoyed creating dramatic content for social media, had purchased a realistic bear costume online specifically for this purpose. Park rangers had recently reported black bear activity in the area, including sightings of a sow with cubs near the campground. According to witness statements, the plan involved positioning the costumed individual behind a large boulder along Esther's regular morning jogging route. Early morning fog reduced visibility to approximately 20 to 30 feet along the lakeshore trail. Her friend later told investigators he had chosen these conditions for filming. Esther typically jogged alone on this trail each morning, wearing earbuds and following the same predictable route. Her friend positioned himself near the trail before dawn, waiting for her routine exercise session to begin. As Esther approached the predetermined location, the costumed friend emerged from behind the boulder as planned. Esther screamed and immediately began running back toward the campground. However, her loud vocalizations and rapid movement attracted the attention of an actual black bear located approximately 70 yards away. According to a later Park Service investigation of tracks and witness accounts, the real bear was a protective sow with 2 cubs who perceived the commotion as a potential threat to her offspring. The bear charged defensively toward the source of the disturbance. Esther ran directly into the sow's path at close range, an outcome investigators said was consistent with fog-limited visibility and panic. The bear reacted instinctively to protect her cubs, inflicting severe trauma through multiple bite wounds to Esther's neck and torso area. The friend in the costume heard Esther's screams change in intensity and removed his costume head to assess the situation. He immediately recognized the presence of the real bear and retreated while calling for help from other campers in the area. Park rangers responded to emergency calls within approximately 12 minutes of the initial incident. Esther was found unresponsive and was pronounced dead at the scene from massive traumatic injuries, consistent with a defensive bear attack. The National Park Service medical examiner ruled the death accidental, noting that the bear's behavior was a typical defensive response to perceived threats near cubs. Park officials closed the immediate area and monitored the sow and her cubs, but determined no removal action was necessary, given the defensive nature of the encounter. The individual who conducted the prank was cited for wildlife harassment and creating hazardous conditions. He received a substantial fine and was required to complete a comprehensive wildlife safety education program. This incident demonstrated how human activities that mimic natural threats can trigger genuine defensive responses from wild animals protecting their young. It was October 28, 2017, when a Halloween party prank in Nashville ended in tragedy due to a fatal assumption about a firearms condition. Halloween weekend brought mild 62-degree temperatures to the Belmont neighborhood. Garrison Boyd, a 21-year-old college student who worked part-time at a local automotive shop, was attending a costume party at his friend's house. Those who knew Garrison described him as easygoing and always willing to participate in group activities. His co-workers noted that he enjoyed being the center of attention and rarely backed down from a challenge or dare, often being the first to volunteer for risky stunts or elaborate pranks. The party host, an aspiring filmmaker who collected theatrical props for his video projects, had planned an elaborate staged robbery scenario to film guests' reactions for social media content. According to the police investigation, among his collection of replica weapons was an older revolver he had purchased at an estate sale, which he assumed to be non-functional and safe for use as a prop based solely on its weathered appearance and the seller's assurances. The basement party room featured dimly colored lighting that made detailed visual inspection difficult. The host had not verified the weapon's condition with a qualified person, nor had he followed proper safety protocols for handling firearms. According to witness statements, the plan involved confronting party guests at gunpoint, while others filmed their genuine reactions to the apparent threat. Garrison volunteered to be the first participant in the staged scenario. According to witness statements from other party guests, the host approached Garrison with the revolver, demanding his wallet as part of the scripted robbery scene. Garrison played along with the performance, raising his hands and backing against the basement wall in apparent compliance. The host pointed the weapon at Garrison's chest from approximately 4 feet away and pulled the trigger. According to witness accounts, he expected only a harmless click, believing the revolver was non-functional due to its age and visible wear. Instead, the firearm discharged a live round, that had remained in the cylinder from its previous owner. The .38 caliber bullet struck Garrison in the chest, causing him to collapse immediately. Initial confusion among party guests delayed recognition that an actual shooting had occurred. Many attendees initially believed the blood in Garrison's collapse were part of the elaborate prank, given the theatrical nature of the setup. The realization that something had gone seriously wrong prompted multiple emergency calls. Police and paramedics arrived within minutes of the first call. Garrison was pronounced dead at the scene from a single gunshot wound to the chest. The medical examiner later determined that the bullet had caused fatal cardiac perforation. Police investigation revealed that the firearm had not been properly cleared or inspected before use. The weapon contained a live round that the host was unaware of, having assumed the gun was completely safe based on its purchase as a theatrical prop. The host was charged with criminally negligent homicide for his failure to ensure the weapon was safe before using it in the prank. He was subsequently convicted and sentenced to prison time. The incident prompted the local theater and film community to implement stricter safety protocols regarding the use of realistic firearms in productions. The tragedy highlighted the critical importance of treating all firearms as potentially loaded and dangerous, regardless of their intended purpose or assumed condition. It was September 15, 2019, when a trust challenge at an abandoned quarry in Flagstaff turned fatal due to unstable terrain and a prank that went horribly wrong. Early autumn brought crisp 48-degree temperatures and clear skies to northern Arizona. Vera Wells, a 22-year-old recent college graduate who worked as a marketing assistant at a local firm, had joined her hiking group for what they called an adventure challenge. Her colleagues described Vera as someone who embraced outdoor activities and trusted her friends completely. The abandoned limestone quarry, located 12 miles outside Flagstaff, had been closed since the mid-1990s. The site featured a water-filled pit, approximately 60 feet deep, surrounded by weathered rock ledges and loose gravel surfaces. Recent rainfall had further destabilized sections of the limestone rim, though this condition was not apparent to the group. According to police interviews, Vera's friends, who maintained an adventure vlog, had planned what they told Vera was a blindfolded navigation challenge. However, investigators later discovered the group had secretly planned to prank Vera by guiding her close to what they believed was a small, harmless cliff edge to frighten her before revealing the joke. The concept involved Vera wearing a blindfold and noise-canceling headphones while they provided guidance through physical contact. The group had scouted the area earlier and identified what they thought was a minor drop-off of only a few feet that would create a thrilling scare without real danger. They planned to guide Vera to this edge, let her feel the drop with her foot, then reveal the prank while filming her reaction. According to witness statements, they were executing their prank by deliberately guiding Vera toward what they believed was the small, safe cliff edge they had identified earlier. However, in the changed afternoon conditions, they had miscalculated their location and were actually approaching the main quarry rim instead of the minor drop-off. As part of their prank, they intentionally loosened their guidance contact to make Vera feel uncertain and heighten her fear before the planned reveal. During this deliberate gap in guidance, Vera took another step forward, expecting solid ground. Instead, her foot landed on a section of limestone ledge that had been weakened by recent weather conditions at the actual quarry edge. The ledge collapsed under her weight, and Vera fell approximately 60 feet toward the water below. Witnesses reported that she struck multiple rock surfaces during the descent before entering the quarry pool. Her friends immediately realized their fatal mistake and attempted to locate her, but could not see her resurface. Emergency responders from the local sheriff's office were contacted and a specialized dive team was deployed. The recovery operation took several hours due to the depth of the water and the remote location. Vera was recovered from approximately 35 feet of water. The county medical examiner determined that she had died from multiple blunt force trauma sustained during the fall. The injuries were consistent with striking solid rock surfaces at high velocity. The incident was ruled an accidental death. Investigators determined that the group had misidentified their location while attempting to execute their prank. leading Vera to the actual quarry edge instead of the minor drop-off they had intended to use. County officials later installed additional warning signage and protective fencing around the quarry site. The group members faced charges related to reckless endangerment and were required to complete community service and safety education programs. This fatal accident demonstrated how pranks involving environmental hazards can turn deadly when participants misjudge real dangers in unfamiliar terrain. It was November 11, 2018, when a fake kidnapping prank in downtown Phoenix ended in tragedy after being mistaken for an actual crime by law enforcement. Veterans Day evening brought clear skies and 68-degree temperatures to downtown Phoenix. Darren Cole, a 24-year-old warehouse supervisor who had recently started working for a logistics company, was known among his friends for his outgoing personality and willingness to participate in elaborate social media content. His co-workers described him as someone who enjoyed being part of group projects and rarely declined opportunities to help friends with their creative endeavors. According to the police investigation, Darren's friends, who maintained a social media channel focused on prank content, had planned an elaborate fake abduction scenario to film in a downtown parking garage. The group had rented a white van and purchased ski masks, intending to stage a realistic kidnapping scene that would capture genuine reactions from bystanders before revealing the prank. According to witness statements, they selected the third level of a multi-story parking garage on a busy downtown street. The concrete structure featured typical garage acoustics with echoing sounds and mixed lighting conditions from fluorescent fixtures and natural light filtering through openings. The timing was planned for early evening when commuter foot traffic would be heavy, ensuring potential witnesses to captured on camera. Darren had agreed to play the role of victim, with his friends acting as masked abductors, while another member filmed the entire sequence from a concealed position. As the staged kidnapping began, Darren's friends approached him wearing ski masks and began forcing him toward their van, while he shouted for help as part of the scripted performance. An off-duty police detective walking to her personal vehicle 2 rows away heard the commotion and immediately responded to what appeared to be a genuine crime in progress. The detective identified herself as law enforcement, drew her service weapon, and issued commands for the suspects to stop and show their hands. The garage's acoustics created overlapping echoes, and the dim lighting made it difficult to distinguish details clearly. During the rapidly evolving situation, one of Darren's friends made a sudden movement while attempting to retrieve his phone to stop recording the prank. In the confusion of shouted commands, movement, and poor visibility, the detective perceived an imminent threat and discharged her weapon 3 times, with 2 rounds striking concrete barriers and 1 striking Darren. Darren, positioned between the detective and his friends during the confrontation, was struck by 1 round in the chest. The group immediately began shouting that the situation was a prank and dropped their props. But the shooting had already occurred. Emergency medical services arrived within minutes and transported Darren to a regional trauma center. He was pronounced dead en route from a gunshot wound that had caused fatal cardiac damage. After reviewing security camera footage from the parking garage and interviewing witnesses, the county attorney's office determined that the shooting was justified based on the detective's reasonable belief of imminent serious harm during what appeared to be a violent felony in progress. Darren's friends were cited for disorderly conduct and creating a public nuisance. Following the incident, the Phoenix Police Department issued public advisories warning against conducting realistic crime-themed pranks in public spaces due to the potential for tragic misunderstandings with law enforcement. This fatal encounter highlighted the serious risks of staging realistic criminal scenarios without proper coordination with authorities. It was July 3, 2016, when a 4th of July celebration in Sacramento turned deadly due to an improvised pyrotechnic device that malfunctioned catastrophically. The day before Independence Day brought clear skies and 95-degree heat to Riverside Park. Murphy Cole, a 19-year-old community college student who worked part-time at a local retail store, was known for his enthusiasm about special effects and his willingness to help friends with creative projects. His co-workers described him as someone who enjoyed being part of elaborate plans and rarely turned down an opportunity to participate in group activities. According to police interviews, Murphy's friend had devised an elaborate prank to scare their group of friends during the evening barbecue. The plan involved Murphy hiding behind trees near the picnic area and setting off what his friend described as a harmless flashbang devices to startle the group while they were eating dinner. His friend, an amateur videographer who had been experimenting with homemade pyrotechnics after watching online tutorials, assured Murphy that the devices were completely safe and would only produce loud sounds and bright flashes. The friend had constructed several devices using improvised explosive mixtures housed in rigid aluminum containers, telling Murphy they contained only flash powder similar to what photographers used. The group had chosen a secluded area near the American River, away from the main picnic areas where families were celebrating. Investigators later determined that Murphy believed he was handling safe theatrical effects. His friend had convinced him that the devices were designed to create dramatic visual effects without any real danger, similar to stage pyrotechnics used in concerts. The homemade explosives featured unreliable fuses made from cotton strings soaked in a saltpeter solution, though Murphy had been told they were standard safety fuses that would give him plenty of time to retreat. As evening approached and their friends gathered around the picnic tables, Murphy positioned himself behind a cluster of trees approximately 30 yards from the group. According to his friend's video footage, which was later reviewed by investigators, Murphy lit what he believed was a harmless flash device and began moving away from it as instructed. The fuse burned much faster than Murphy had been told it would. The device detonated within seconds of ignition before Murphy could reach what he thought was a safe distance. The thick-walled aluminum tube fragmented upon explosion, sending sharp metal projectiles in multiple directions. Several pieces struck Murphy in the chest and abdomen area. The largest fragment, approximately 2 inches in length, penetrated his torso. Murphy fell backward and remained motionless on the ground. The group of friends at the picnic tables, who were supposed to be the targets of the prank, instead witnessed Murphy's fatal injury. Multiple emergency calls were placed within minutes of the incident. Murphy's friend, who had been filming the entire sequence, immediately called for help while attempting to provide first aid. Sacramento Fire Department paramedics arrived and found Murphy in critical condition with severe internal bleeding. He was transported to a regional medical center where trauma surgeons attempted to repair damage to vital organs. Despite their efforts, Murphy died during surgery from complications related to multiple penetrating wounds. The county coroner ruled the death accidental, citing massive internal trauma caused by metal fragments from the improvised explosive device. Investigators determined that Murphy had been misled about the safety of the devices and had positioned himself dangerously close during ignition based on false assurances from his friend. Murphy's friend faced criminal charges related to the unlawful manufacture and use of explosive devices and reckless endangerment. He received a prison sentence and was required to complete community service focused on public safety education. The incident prompted local authorities to increase enforcement of fireworks regulations and issue public warnings about the dangers of homemade pyrotechnics.